Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're watching this video, you may have found yourself thinking upon reading the title of this video, how the hell is Pope Francis an agnostic? Well, I'm going to tell you how. Oftentimes in everyday discussion, the words agnostic and atheist often get conflated to be describing the same thing. One's belief in the existence of a god or gods, depending on the religion about which you are speaking. However, in this video, I submit to you, the viewers, that they do not describe the same thing, and to suggest that they do describe the same thing is, for lack of a better word, ignorant. The root of the word agnostic, gnostic, Gnostic, stems from the Latin word gnosticus. As a side note, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, and if I am, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to know how to pronounce that. I know very little Latin, and I know even less about the pronunciation. I know it's somewhat similar to languages like Spanish or Italian, but I digress. And this word means of knowledge. So, okay, we have an understanding of the root word of the word agnostic. Now, let's look at atheist. The root of the word atheist, theist, describes one's belief in a deity. It doesn't have to be the Christian Judeo God. It doesn't have to be the Islamic God. It could be Norse gods or Greek gods or Roman gods, or really any god or set of gods that exist. Well, exist is a loaded word, but that are believed to exist from any one of the number of religions around the world. So now that we have a basic understanding of the root words of agnostic and atheist, that doesn't tell us all that much. Well, it does, doesn't it? If one is pertaining to knowledge and one is pertaining to belief, then how can we say that they are meant and intended to describe the same thing? We can't. Now let's look at the prefix of those words. A simply means without. So if you are agnostic, you are without knowledge. If you are an atheist, you are without belief. Again, just furthering the divide between the two words. So if someone asks you, do you believe in God? That is a yes or no answer. It depends isn't really a viable answer to that question, or I don't know. That still not really a viable answer. You either believe or you don't believe. And if you answer in the negative, that means that you are an atheist. You are without belief. Now, if someone asks you, do you know whether Zeus or Allah or Yahweh or Jehovah or God exist? And you say, I don't know. I lack sufficient evidence to say that I do know that. Or you can't really say I believe. That's not really a good answer, because that's talking about belief, not actual knowledge, which is the whole point of the word Gnostic, which is again also the whole point of that particular question. Do you know? It's talking about actual knowledge, and belief isn't actual knowledge. Belief is just that. It is just your faith. You're taking something on faith, not based off of facts. So if you say to that question, I do not know, or no, I don't know, or I lack sufficient evidence or facts, or I haven't seen any true irrefutable evidence that would tend to suggest that God exists, then you are an agnostic. Here, I drew something for you. So looking at this graphic, the black circle is in reference to all knowledge possible. That means you can have a circle in here that's knowledge of physics, a circle in here that's knowledge of biology, a circle in here that's knowledge of chemistry, a circle in here that's knowledge of English literature, British literature, ancient literature, you name it. There's infinite amount of circles to describe the areas of knowledge that this entire black circle represents. Now, this sole red circle right here is meant to illustrate the knowledge of God's existence, which is completely different than the belief in God. This is all actual knowledge, and this red circle represents actual knowledge of God's existence. What do I mean by actual knowledge? I'm not talking about something that the believer might view as a miracle. For example, I know people who would describe an individual's surviving of cancer as a miracle. Now, that's their opinion. They're perfectly able to hold that opinion. But in reality, it's a combination of biology and the advancement of medical science that has led to that individual surviving cancer, which is fantastic. I'm not trying to diminish anyone who has survived cancer. I myself have people in my family who have survived cancer. But the difference is, I don't go around saying that it was a miracle that was granted to me because I prayed. I'm saying that I am thankful to the advancements made in medical science over my lifetime that has enabled my family members to survive cancer. Totally different. That's not what I mean by actual knowledge, is what an individual claims to be a miracle or what an individual believes to be true. If you can suggest something to me that I can't say, well, maybe it was this, that's refutable. Moreover, what I'm suggesting is falsifiable, which is one of the main points of getting to actual knowledge, is that what I am claiming needs to be falsifiable so that you can test it. If you can't test what you are saying to be true, then it is belief, not fact. And if something is based off of your belief instead of fact, then it cannot be actual knowledge. That is purely your belief. So coming to a conclusion, it should be evident as to the differences between the word agnostic and atheist. Agnostic goes to demonstrate an individual's actual knowledge as to the existence of God, whereas the term atheist goes to describe that individual's belief in the existence of God. So no one, not a single person in this world has actual knowledge of God's existence. And if you believe that you do, I beg you to put that actual knowledge, that scientific fact that proves the existence of God, into the description down below. Why am I asking you to do this? Because I'm open-minded. While I don't believe in God, I am surely open to scientific evidence that tends to suggest the existence of God. I am open to scientific, actual knowledge of God's existence. However, I myself am not going to believe in God's existence until I see that evidence, until I see that actual knowledge exists for the existence of God. And until then, I'm going to remain an atheist, but my mind can be changed. So I am also an agnostic. I am an atheist because I do not believe in the existence of God. I do not believe that God exists. However, I do not know for certain. I might be 99.9% sure that he doesn't exist, but that 0.1% is still plenty sufficient to qualify me as an agnostic because I don't know. My mind can still be changed. Present to me actual scientific evidence that God exists, actual scientific evidence that can be falsified of God's existence, and I'll believe. I'll start going to church every Sunday. But until that point, I'm not going to, and nor should you. Which ultimately brings me to my final point. If you don't believe in God, and you're in that wishy-washy phase like I was, where I referred to myself as an agnostic, I was raised to be a serious Catholic, and as my favorite comedian always says, I was Catholic until I reached the age of reason, which for me was really young. But initially, because I was afraid of what my family might say to me, I ultimately ended up going to a Catholic high school. I was afraid of what my peers might say to me. I initially referred to myself as was an agnostic. And because for whatever reason, the term agnostic leaves less of a sour taste in people's mouth than the word atheist, which is why it is important for us to use the word atheist. We have to normalize that word. It is unacceptable that in 2019 we cannot say that we are atheists without fear of repercussions from our group of friends or our family members. Moreover, there are people who literally cannot say the word atheist, cannot describe themselves as an atheist, cannot even say that they converted to a different faith without the fear of being shunned from their family, excommunicated by their friends, and or possibly murdered. We have to normalize the word atheist. And the only way we're going to normalize the word is by arguing and demonstrating to people that the words atheist and agnostic do not describe the same thing. They describe two very different things. One describes belief and one describes actual knowledge. As always, thank you for the view. I'm Mike with the Evolved Logician. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and remember to tick that bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. I stream on twitch.tv. Please follow me on my social media if you want to come and enjoy the stream as well. The link to that will be in the description down below, along with all my social media accounts. I try to respond to every comment, but sometimes I just can't due to time. I am a full-time student, so sometimes that gets in the way of this. I do my best to stream on the reliable schedule that I have posted on my Twitch account. So if you want to come and interact with me on a more fluid basis, please come stop by. I am more than happy to discuss anything, whether that's philosophy, politics, law, religion, with you, the viewers. Thank you for the view, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time, stay logical, my friends.